Is it time to panic? You're watching Raiders Overreaction Sunday. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and this show's going to be hot and spicy. Why? Because I'm still ticked off the fact that the Raiders lost 27-12 to the freaking Dallas Cowboys of all teams, man. Now I got to go home. I got to look at my fiance in the eye. She's going to clown me because I've been, riding her that the Raiders are going to kick some ass against Dallas, and yet that was the performance that we saw. Aidan O'Connell wasn't good. Gardner Minshew wasn't good. The Raiders' defense wasn't good. You had a game going up against a team that played nothing but backups, and you were marching out there saying that this is going to be the most important game of the entire preseason because you were trying to figure out a starting quarterback, and that was the performance we got. I take this jersey and I wear this with pride. I think this shield represents a lot, and that's the type of game that's got Al Davis rolling over in his grave. And I know, Mitch, it's only preseason, but again, if you're going to wear a Raiders jersey, wear it with some freaking pride, man. So here we go. It's either going to be an overreaction or believe it, baby. That's what this show here is all about. And Antonio Pierce can't name a starting quarterback after tonight's game. Guess what? That's believe it, baby. I know what Antonio Pierce said. I know that he said that he's going to name a starting quarterback because based on what AP said, he said that there is enough, okay? There is enough here that he can make a decision where, and I quote, "We've seen enough reps, 2 games like we talked about. Our guys are not playing in our 3rd preseason game. Our starters will sleep on it, make a decision in the next couple of days." Here's my point, okay? My point is in the 2nd preseason game that you're looking at the Raiders in this situation right now. If Antonio Pierce names Aidan O'Connell the Raiders starting quarterback, it was always going to be Aidan O'Connell. If Antonio Pierce names Gardner Minshew the starting quarterback, it was always going to be Gardner Minshew. Because if you're legitimately going into that final game and you're going, we're going to name a quarterback after that, you got to take this 2nd preseason game, you got to crumble it up from a coaching standpoint, and you got to throw it away. There's nothing good that came from this game. Nothing. Like, sure, Trey Tucker looked good here and there. DJ Turner looked good here and there. But, like, your defense didn't play well. Both your starting quarterbacks looked absolutely atrocious. And I'm sorry, if you're naming a starting QB and AP, you know, I love you. I still think that you're the right man for this job. But there's no way you can possibly name a starting quarterback after that game. I'm going to ask the nation because that's what I do here, man. Who's the QB1? Is it Aidan O'Connell type AOC? Is it Gardner Minshew type GM? This is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show. I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer. If AP does name a QB, it's Aidan O'Connell. Why? Because tie goes to Aiden, and because it was always going to end up being Aidan O'Connell. If it's Gardner Minshew, I'm going to be shocked. If it's Aiden, I'm going to be shocked that AP was actually able to stare at all of us in the eyes and give us a confident answer that he was going to be able to name a starting QB. Quite frankly, I expected more from Antonio Pierce. Next one is AOC can't be named the starter. This is another believe it, baby. Aiden has not shown you anything this entire offseason that warrants him to be the starting quarterback of an NFL franchise. Not saying that we have a QB on our team right now that has worn anything that showed us that he can be the starting QB, but the reason why I'm saying that AOC probably will end up being the starters because there was a point in that preseason game, and I tweeted it out. You go check it out. I'm Mitchell Renz 365, that Aidan O'Connell was the Raiders starting quarterback. Why? Because if Gardner didn't win the job, it was Aiden's. And Aiden didn't win the job. Gardner didn't win the job. Nobody has won this quarterback battle yet. 14 of 20, 96 yards, a touchdown. But it was the pick 6. Like, if you're going to predicate yourself on being able to take care of the football, you can't throw a pick 6. But then again, quite frankly, Gardner Minshew, he should have threw a pick 6 his first drive of the game. I'm just so upset still to this point that our expectations, and I get it. I'm not going to sit up here and say I told you so because it's only a preseason game and I haven't told you anything yet. But the quarterback is going to be the Achilles heel to this team, and you saw it today, point blank, right in your face, and there's nothing else you can say besides that. If you come away with today's game not being all that upset about this Raiders quarterback play, then I just don't think that you watched the game. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do. We're about 300 away from 172,000 subs. This is going to be one of the most interesting weeks that I have ever covered this team from top to bottom, simply because the Raiders' next preseason game is going to be on Friday against the 49ers, and leading up to that, There's a lot of unknowns, man. A lot of questions from top to bottom. Hopefully AP can give me some answers because I'm left speechless, which does not happen often. Gardner Minshew can't be named the starting quarterback. Are you getting a trend here? This is also Believe It, baby. I wanted a quarterback to win the battle. And when this preseason game started up against the Cowboys, I stood up here on this screen and I go, somebody's got to win the job. I don't want somebody just to get the job because nobody earned the job. Somebody had to earn it. Nobody has earned the job. Gardner Minshew didn't earn the job. Aidan O'Connell didn't earn the job. Minshew today was 10 of 21, 95 yards. I want to say he got 5 or 6 drives. The Raiders said they were only going to give the first quarter to Minshew. They gave him like a quarter and a half. Got a field goal. The red zone woes were bad for Luke Getsy again, but like Minshew had one deep ball to Trey Tucker, and it was on target. It was a beautiful throw by Minshew. It was a hell of a catch by Trey. Outside of that, if you take away that Trey Tucker one, and I know it's not fair to do that, but if you take away that Trey Tucker catch, dude, Minshew's a really rough day, man. Really rough day for this offense from top to bottom. I got some more overreactions coming up here in just a moment, but maybe they're not even overreactions at this point. I'm not even sure what the hell I just witnessed in that preseason game. What I do know is I'm trying to save up for a wedding. I'm trying to save up for a house. I've been trying to save up my money. That way I could spend it a little bit better. And if you're like me, you might not even remember how many subscriptions you have. So go to rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. That's rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. It's a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses, and I can see all my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a few taps. The app will save you hundreds of dollars. That's what Forbes said. Also, maybe you can listen up to this. This, on average, saves members about the $740 a year when you use all of Rocket Money's app's features. Also, over 5 million users have helped save the total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. So stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. That's rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. All those links are going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Here we go. Let's go to the next Overreaction Sunday. Nathan Peterman, Mitch, should be the QB1. I got this multiple times when the stream ended. No, he shouldn't. That's an overreaction. We got to be able to face the facts here. We had an opportunity to get a quarterback in the offseason, and I'm just so irritated that the Raiders were they didn't do it. They didn't try to do it, right? You got a quarterback depth chart. It's got Nathan Peterman, Carter Bradley, Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. And, there's that saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none. Right now, it looks like the Raiders got 4 quarterbacks because they don't got any right now. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because Carter Bradley can't get it done. Nathan Peterman is a really good QB3 in the NFL. It's got some experience with Luke Getsy's system. But if we're going to roll out Nathan Peterman for an entire season, you might as well lock in the #1 overall pick for this draft. I know Aiden and Gardner struggled, but they are both clearly better than Nathan Peterman. And if I got to hear Nathan Peterman should be the starter talk, I don't want to hear it. Neither should Colin Kaepernick. If I get another Colin Kaepernick, give him a call. Shut the hell up. It's a dumb thing to say out loud, and it's not going to happen. The Raiders are going to have the #1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. That's also an overreaction. I know what I tweeted. I know that I said that the Raiders played like a team that could have the #1 overall pick today. If that upsets you, grow up. If that upsets you, you probably like participation trophies. Because if you honestly can watch that game tonight and don't think that the Raiders played as bad to have the #1 overall pick, then you're just a homer. And I love the Raiders. I love them to the end of the world and back. I love the nation. But, we got to be able to have honest conversations here. And if you watch that game, it wasn't only the quarterback play. It was the offensive line. It wasn't great. But Mitch, Brock Bowers didn't play. Devontae Adams didn't play. Jackson Powers-Johnson, Colt Miller. I hear you. The Raiders had starting caliber players on offense and defense play the almost entirety of this game, basically 3 quarters. The Dallas Cowboys didn't play a single starter the entire game, and a game that meant everything to the Raiders and nothing to Dallas. Your team didn't show up. If the Raiders play the way that they did tonight in the regular season, they will have the #1 overall pick. Not saying that they're going to have it, but the way they played tonight, that's a team that plays like they're going to have the #1 overall pick. Antonio Pierce can't afford a tank. That team tonight, there was a time where I was like, am I watching a Josh McDaniels coach team tonight? That's how bad they played, y'all. So how about this? Predict the Raiders' record this season. Vegas has them at 6.5. I'm still going to stay true to my guns. I'm still going to say the Raiders are going to win 9 games. They're not as bad as what they played tonight. Quite frankly, I hope that tonight is the worst game that we see out of the Raiders the entire season. Fingers crossed, because if it's not, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't even begin to tell you how mad I am at myself for being upset. How upset I am at a freaking preseason game. But when you put all the time, the energy, the money, everything into it, you're allowed to be upset. It's a normal emotion. Why? It's because I care. I got one more coming up here, Overreaction Sunday. If y'all don't know, though, Week 1 watch party is going to be lit AF. We're going to be having a hell of a time in North Carolina. If you want to get your tickets, go to chatsports.com/week1. That link's also going to be available to you all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. If you want to be able to hang out with me, Chugs, and a bunch of Raiders fans, we're going to be partying September 7th and September 8th. Also, make sure you enter in for a chance to join Top Golf with Chugs and I. There's going to be 20 winners in this raffle. That link is going to be chatsports.com/topgolf. Both of those links are available. If you enjoy watching our watch parties tonight, we had over 100,000 people. We're also going to be rocking. It's going to be probably close to 200,000 people for Week 1. But depending on how many people we have in person, it's just partying in person is just a little bit different. All right, here we go. Raiders defense is not a legit defense. I've been somebody that stood up here and has said, this is the best defense in the NFL. This is a top 5 defense, no doubt. This is an overreaction, because I do still think that this Raiders defense is legit, and there's always that balance where maybe Luke Getsy's not showing his entire hand on offense. Well, maybe Patrick Graham's not showing his entire hand on defense. But, like, Jack Jones didn't play well today. He got whooped by a guy by the name of, say that again? Flournoy? I don't even know if that's a real person. Got whooped by him. Tyree Wilson. Got to be able to show up. Byron Young gets pushed back 3-4 yards every time. The interior of this defensive line is not getting it done. They are getting exposed in the running game. The Minnesota Vikings, who are one of the worst offenses in the NFL without Justin Jefferson, did some work against us. This game against the Dallas Cowboys with Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, and a bunch of their backups kind of beat us up a little bit. And, like, there was even times in this game where you thought they were going to be able to get a stop, and they just simply didn't. Dallas had their way with the Raiders. 27 points, I get it. Some of that, obviously came from the Aiden O'Connell pick 6. But when your expectation is a Super Bowl caliber defense, okay, you got to be able to rely on that defense. And when your quarterback plays as bad as what it is, when you have QB play that might be the worst quarterback play in the National Football League, you need your defense to be a top 3 unit to have any playoff aspirations. If our defense plays the way that they did tonight and our quarterback play is going to be the way that it is, that's the number 1 overall pick. I just want you to be aware. So hopefully, Raiders players, that you get a good night's sleep. I'm going to need a good night's sleep. Hope AP has this team ready to go next week against the San Francisco 49ers, because quite frankly, there's nothing more valuable in your life than time, and I feel bad for anybody that has to watch that team play another game, especially in the preseason. I'm hoping it's going to be better. Like I said, I don't know if it can be any worse. If you want to stay up to date with everything going on with me, follow me on IG, follow me on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365, but my final message is going to be this. AP, I still believe in you. Raiders, I still believe in you. I know it's only a preseason game, and I'm only this upset, and I'm going to use something that probably every parent out there has ever said. I am disappointed. I am disappointed in the effort that I saw from top to bottom in this team, because I believe in AP, and that's a team that didn't play with any heart. I wear this shield with pride, and next week I better see some pride out there on the field, because I'm not going to do this bullshit every single week. That was a piss-poor performance. Hopefully we can find ourselves a quarterback. Hopefully we can win some football games this season. But that preseason game, that was brutal, man.